Okay. Thunderstorm ke, okay. So please record, okay, both lecture and tutorial and share with your friends lah later on. Okay, corroboration, evidence, the exception. Okay. So I hope you still recall what we have learned last week. So we have discussed about general principle, section 134, and the maxim testers ponderator, non-numerator. The court is not bother how the evidence is obtained. The most important is the quality of evidence. So the quantity is not important. What is important is what we call it, the quality of evidence. As long as relevant, as long as a strong piece of evidence, it can be used to support your what call it, the case. Okay, can be used. Nobody can object it. Nobody can force you to use a lot of number of evidence. Okay, that would be the general principle. Last week we have discussed about but whenever there's a general principle, there's always an exception and this would be the exception. Okay, first exception would be exception as matter of law. Another exception would be as a matter of practice. So we've discussed, okay, so matter of law is required by the law lah. You must know that. Okay, matter of practice is required by court cases. Matter of practice only. Matter of law is compulsory. Matter of practice is something, it's not compulsory, but it's something which is they normally do lah. But they have an option whether they want to have corroboration, extra evidence or not. So what is corroboration? I hope you recall last week we've discussed corroboration means supporting evidence, extra evidence to support the case. Okay, as mentioned in Augustine Paul in Aziz bin Muhammad Din against PP 1996 5 MLJ 473. There are two types of corroboration. One is corroboration as matter of law. Another one is corroboration required as a matter of practice. Okay, so the first thing you need to know, what is the difference between corroboration matter of law? What is corroboration required as matter of practice? So as I mentioned, matter of law means required by the law. It's mentioned in the statute, ada dalam statute tu. Kalau you gagal to corroborate, maknanya you salah di sisi undang-undang, you melanggar statute. Okay, you tu siapa? Hakim lah. Okay, selalunya hakim kena pastikan keterangan yang diberikan, keterangan yang dihantar tu mesti ada bukti sokongan. Kalau hakim terima bukti tu, maknanya hakim tu salah. Okay, itu dah. Matter of practice means is from mentioned decided cases. It's not compulsory, but it's something, although it's not compulsory, although it's not mentioned in the statute, but normally it's been followed lah by the court. Okay, but if the court don't want to follow, okay, the court must mention the note of the proceeding about the danger of accepting this one piece of evidence without probation. You must mention in the note of proceeding. Okay, mention anything lah. Okay, the word caution, the word danger ke, anything to indicate that the court has warned himself. If the court didn't warn himself, also is also wrong lah. Okay, the other party have right to make an appeal. Okay, so this what calls corroboration, this area of corroboration you can see okay, unsworn sedition is all apply not only in Malaysia all over the world, standardized. Okay, satu dunia pakai benda yang sama. Question, what are the requirement for corroboration evidence? Ini yang paling penting sekali. You tak boleh corroborate macam tu je. Dia kena ada bukti-bukti dia. Okay. Bunyi ayam. Rumah siapa tu? sorry. Mana ni? So requirement for corroboration, basically I put it 4 lah. Okay. The evidence that you have now and the evidence you're going to corroborate both must be relevant lah. Section 5. Okay, no point kalau you ada evidence sekarang ataupun evidence sokongan ke, dua-dua tak relevan ke, ataupun salah satu tak relevan, no point. So logically speaking, both must be relevant lah and admissible. Section 5. Okay. Second, the evidence in question must be a strong evidence lah before you corroborate with other evidence. So corroboration is not to support weak evidence. Don't get misconception. Corroboration is to support strong evidence. So if the evidence is strong, why we need to corroborate? Because the nature of the case or the nature of the witness required so. Okay, itu sebab dia. So maknanya you gonna do a strong evidence to support that particular case. Satu tak cukup. Okay, so the evidence in question must be credible. If the evidence in question is very weak evidence, then no need to waste time to corroborate lah. The court will not entertain it. The evidence you will lose your case entirely. Okay, so the evidence you have is strong. So for example, like macam unsworn testimony of a child. So a child come give unsworn evidence. Make sure this testimony given by this unsworn testimony of child is credible. Okay, if the unsworn testimony given is not that strong, then there's no need to waste time to corroborate. Okay, because the evidence you have in place is bad, not that strong. And the corroboration evidence must be independent lah as much as possible. So kalau ada evidence tu you nak pakai corroboration evidence, make sure dia tak ada kena-mengena dengan evidence yang you ada sendiri. For example macam children testimony, right? So you nak corroborate dengan apa? Testimony of the mother. Mother means mak dia lah, maknanya ada conflict of interest. Okay, so tak boleh. Kalau boleh ambil orang lain lah. Okay, nak ambil dengan apa ambil lah apa-apa selain pada family member dia sendiri. Tapi kalau tak ada apa nak buat? Hantam sajalah. Okay, itu dia. Tapi it's better. Okay, to have corroboration evidence to be independent lah as much as possible. So the corroboration evidence must at the end implicate the accused lah. Okay, so it's relate to relevancy jugalah. Okay, but okay, you must submit evidence which can implicate the accused. Okay, itu dia. So ini syarat-syarat yang penting you kena remember when you have to submit a corroboration evidence. Penting. Kalau ada soalan terus tanya, tekan unmute button ni aja dekat you punya desktop tu. So corroboration evidence only allowed to be used to support strong evidence, not to support weak evidence. Penting. Ini paling penting you must remember. Okay, so kalau evidence you have in place is very weak, there's no issue of corroboration. Tak perlu penat-penat corroboration lah. The court will reject entirely your case. Okay, so you must make sure evidence you have is a strong evidence. Kalau saksi kanak-kanak tu, make sure saksi kanak-kanak tu is credible evidence lah, strong evidence. Kalau saksi kanak-kanak tu very doubtful ke apa, okay, then it's weak evidence lah. Itu issue dia. Corroboration is to support strong evidence. Corroboration is not to support weak evidence. Remember that most important point. Okay? Itu dia. Question. Why we need to support strong evidence? As I said, because the nature of the case required so. Because the nature of the witness required so. Okay? Because of the nature of the witness. Because of the nature of the case. Okay? Nature of the witness, apa dia? Saksi kanak-kanak. Okay, so nature of witness. Okay, memang doubtful lah kanak-kanak kan. Kanak-kanak ni regardless how smart they are, okay, how many A's they obtain in UPSR ke, PMR ke, SPM ke, a child still a child. Okay, itu dia. Dia ada doubt kat situ, nature of witness. So, itu kena ada bukti sokongan untuk menyokongkan saksi kanak-kanak tu. Nature of the case, example macam case sexual offence. Okay, sexual offence is the most hideous kind of case in criminal cases lah, okay, because it can affect the reputation of the accused entirely. So that's why you need more evidence to support it. Okay, you cannot have one strong evidence to support the case. You must have a lot of strong evidence to support the case. Okay, because nature of the witness, because the nature of the case itself. Sedition cases, right? Sedition, nak tahu orang tu dia ada menghasut atau tidak. Satu saksi tak cukup, you kena bawa bukti lain lagi. Okay, untuk menyokong saksi tu. Okay, itu sebab the nature of the case. So what are the types of evidence that can be used to corroborate evidence? Anything, apa-apa saja. You refer pada case R against Hill ni, I give you 1988, 86 Criminal Appeal Report, okay, page 26. It's worth noting that corroboration was not limited to direct evidence of independent witness. It was frequently provided by a combination of pieces of circumstantial evidence which together tended to show that defendants committed the crime. Okay, provided by combination pieces of circumstantial, even a circumstantial evidence also you can use to corroborate. Okay, it can be expert testimony, it can be document. Okay, so macam saksi kanak-kanak ni, kalau kita tak boleh panggil mak dia untuk corroborate, kita nak panggil siapa? Normally dalam kanak-kanak ni kita panggil macam expert witness lah. Okay, section 45 tu. Macam psychologist, counselor, okay, pakar kanak-kanak. Itu kita panggil untuk corroborate testimoni kanak-kanak tu. Okay, so kalau sexual offences tu kita nak panggil siapa pula? Kalau sexual offences kita panggil expert lah. Normally kita panggil expert juga. So selain pada saksi, testimoni victim tu kita panggil pakar-pakar yang berkaitan lah bidang sexual offences ni. Okay, so pada jabatan kimia tu ke, selalu kita panggil lah DNA tu kan. Okay. Okay, we go one by one lah. Okay. Unsworn evidence of a child. Keterangan kanak-kanak, seorang kanak-kanak yang tidak bersumpah. Sebelum kita proceed, ada apa-apa soalan ke? Boleh tanya soalan kalau nak. Any question from the floor? From the online? Okay, what do you call it? Ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya?
Tak ada lagi doktor.
So far okay
Not yet doktor. Okay.
Okay, doktor.
Not yet So far faham? Sebelum kita go one by one.
Faham doktor.
Faham.
Sister okay? Suhaili okay Suhaili?
Okay, doktor.
House
Hazim,
life okay?
Hazim.
Okay. Abdul Had okay
Okay doktor. Alhamdulillah.
Adib okay, Adib Hanisah okay
Okay, doktor.
Okay, suara jauhnya. Okay. Hazim, Ahmad Azim Akifullah okay?
Okay sir, okay.
Okay, Ahmad Ridwan pun okay
Okay sir.
Ridwan okay Okay that's good. Fauzan ada? Fauzan okay? Oh, Fauzan. Mana dia pi? Okay Faiz ada? Faiz?
Ada doktor.
Okay doktor, okay. Azhan okay? Azhan mana? Sabah okay ke? Azhan okay? Problem daripada semalam tutorial okay. Imran okay? Muammar Alif Imran. Alif Imran okay?
Okay sir. Okay sir.
Okay, Azhan okay Okay, Alif Imran okay?
Okay sir, okay sir.
Okay, that's good. Muhammad Imran okay? Imran bin Husim. Imran okay?
Okay sir, okay, tak ada hal.
That's good. Okay, Wafi, how are you? Sihat? Okay, Wafi? Wafi? Hidup ke? Wafi? Where are you, Wafi? Oh. Okay. Sharif?
Yes, sir. I am.
Okay
Okay.
Okay. Azmida okay, Azmida? Azmida okay? Suara jauh okay. Farah Aina okay? Farah Aina?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, Hijrah okay? Hijrah?
Okay, okay.
Okay. Syatra okay? Syatra
Okay.
Okay, that's good. Siti Fatin okay? Siti Fatin Hanis?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Wah, Siti Nur Aisyah ada? Siti Nur Aisyah Zawawi?
Ya, saya ada.
Okay. Wan Muhammad Akmal ada?
Ya saya.
Okay. Wan Najwa ada? Live? Wan Najwa? Semua okay? Wafi ada? Wafi? Tak ada? Wafi tak ada? Okay. Nur Hanis ada? Nur Anis Hatira?
Ada, sir. Ada.
Okay. Nuriani ada? Nuriani binti Zaman? Nuriani ada? Tak ada. Arham ada? Arham? Ada Arham? Suara jauh Arham. Raihana ada? Raihana Mahira?
Ada, sir.
Okay, that's good. Nur Syuhada? Bisharim ada? Nur Syuhada?
Ada, sir.
Okay. Nur Fatihah binti Rosman?
Ada.
Okay, that's good. Ni lagi. Kena panggil Okay. Alia ada? Alia binti Muhammad Zahiruddin?
Ada, sir.
Ada. Dr. Indun ada? Dr. Indun. Filzah ada? Filzah Indun.
Ada.
Okay. Kausa ada? Kausa?
Ada, sir.
Okay, that's good. Okay, Wafi ada? Wafi?
Ada sir, sorry.
Okay. Welcome. Okay. Nur Dayana ada? Dayana Sabran?
Ada, sir. Ada.
Bagus. Okay, ramai ada ni. Okay, that's good. Okay, I think we can proceed. Okay, the first exception, unsworn evidence of a child. Keterangan apa ni? Seorang kanak-kanak yang tidak bersumpah, unsworn. UNSWORN, unsworn, bukan sworn. SWAN, itu angsa. Okay. Unsworn, tidak bersumpah. Okay. Untuk ni, you refer kepada section 118 dan 113 capital A. Okay, itu section. Okay, untuk first exception. So 118, I summarize. What is it trying to say? 118 talk about anybody can become witness. Okay, there is no age limit. So meaning that kanak-kanak pun boleh datang ke mahkamah jadi saksi lah. Yang penting orang tu boleh faham soalan, boleh jawab soalan. Itu je syaratnya. Okay, so there is no age limit macam mengundi. Okay. But okay, the court will decide kalau kanak-kanak tu, kanak-kanak is our age. You refer balik akta kanak-kanak tu lah. Okay, section 2 mengatakan akta kanak-kanak 2001 tu, okay, kanak-kanak maksudnya mereka yang berumur 18 tahun ke bawah. Okay. So 18 tahun ke bawah ada kanak-kanak lah. So all of you semua dah 18 tahun ke atas kan? Ada siapa-siapa mengaku diri dia 18 tahun ke bawah sini? Suhaili, umur kau berapa? Suhaili.
23.
Mengaku terus so bukan kanak-kanak kan? Okay.
Bukan.
Bukan. Okay, adult lah. Okay, so tak boleh pakai lah akta ni. So kan hakim akan tentukan sama ada kanak-kanak tu akan ambil sumpah ataupun tidak lah. Okay, nak tahu dia boleh ambil sumpah atau tidak, hakim tu akan conduct preliminary inquiry lah. Satu siasatan dalaman macam test lah. Okay, to know that the child know the effect of taking oath or not. So hakim akan tanya lah, kamu tahu tak apa itu sumpah? Kamu tahu tak apa kesan itu sumpah? Kalau dia tahu sumpah itu apa, kesan menipu itu apa, maknanya boleh ambil sworn testimony lah. Okay, kalau dia tak tahu efek sumpah ku apa, boleh ambil unsworn testimony. Okay, so kanak-kanak boleh bagi testimony di mahkamah sama ada by way of sworn ataupun unsworn. Okay, itu dia. So evidence of a child. So kalau unsworn, maknanya section 133 capital A dictate that any child who give testimony in court without taking an oath, unsworn testimony, must corroborate. That's why it's matter of law, required by the law, corroboration. So lepas kanak-kanak tu bagi keterangan tanpa sumpah, kena corroborate lah. Corroborate lah dengan apa-apa pun. The court cannot accept the testimony of this child alone without corroboration. Salah. Okay, it's required by the law. Mentioned under 133 capital A. Yang inilah Imran cakap last week. Tanya apa maksud matter of law? Matter of law maknanya required by the law, Imran. It's mentioned under 133 capital A. Okay. Itu dia. Okay. In proceeding against any person for any offence, any child tender age called as a witness does not, in opinion of the court, understand the nature of oath. Is evidence must be received, though not given on oath, if in the opinion of the court is possessed sufficient intelligence to justify reception of evidence and understand the duty to speak the truth. Okay. The evidence of child tender age. Okay. Keterangan seorang kanak-kanak yang masih muda. Any proceeding against any person, a child tender age called as witness, may be received, though not given an oath. Okay. Provided that, tengok bawah section 133 capital A tu, where the evidence admitted by virtue of this section is given on behalf of the prosecution, the accused shall not be liable of conviction of the offence unless that evidence is being corroborated. So maknanya kena disokong. Keterangan itu mestilah sokong. Kalau tidak, dia tak boleh terima. Okay, saksi tak boleh terima. Keterangan kanak-kanak yang tidak bersumpah tak boleh terima tanpa bukti sokongan. So mesti ada corroboration evidence. Matter of law mentioned by the statute. Okay, ini dia. So you refer kepada banyak kes ni untuk kanak-kanak ni. Siddiq bin Rudan is the leading case. PP 1985 3 MLJ. Abdul Malik Ishaq. The proviso to section 133A tadi provided in simple terms that a conviction cannot be stand on the uncorroborated evidence of the unsworn evidence of a child. Okay, so must be corroborated lah. So you refer kepada case Yusaini bin Mat Adam as well. 2000 1 CLJ 206. Okay. Okay, so hakim akan tentukanlah sama ada kanak-kanak itu akan bagi saksi bersumpah ataupun tidak. Okay, itu dia. Di bawah section 133 itu ada the word preliminary inquiry, siasatan dalaman. Kalau hakim tu tak nak tanya soalan, hakim tu boleh panggil expert lah. Expert witness, child psychologist. Okay, counselor. Siapa-siapa yang berkaitan dalam bidang psikologi kanak-kanak lah. Untuk mendapatkan opinion mereka lah sama ada kanak-kanak ni layak untuk bagi testimoni bersumpah ataupun tidak bersumpah dalam mahkamah. Okay. So you boleh refer kepada kes Muharram bin Anson PP 1981 1 MLJ 222 and the case of Adrian Hayes 1977 64 criminal appeal report. Okay. These two cases highlight about what kind of question being asked to know whether the child can take sworn testimony or unsworn testimony. Normally is religious question lah. Kamu tahu tak apa efek kalau bagi efek berbohong bagi testimony. Kalau tahu efek maknanya dia boleh ambil sworn testimony. Kalau dia tak tahu apa efek dia pergi neraka ke apa sebab berbohong dan unsworn testimony lah. Itu dia. So preliminary inquiry. Okay, apa sebab? Kenapa kita perlu corroboration untuk saksi kanak-kanak? Kenapa? Okay, because simple keyword. The child cannot distinguish between fantasy and reality. Itu dia. Okay, banyak kes yang highlight ni. Kes Chow Chong against PP 1960. The case of Lu Chuan Huat against PP 1971. The case of Tam Kayo. I think you dah come across this case criminal law dulu. Okay, 1997. And the case of Shamugan. Okay, all these cases said that the child cannot distinguish between fantasy and reality. That's why the court need to have some extra evidence to support children testimony in court. Okay, so we finished the first exception. Okay, and next exception will be sedition cases, case hasutan. This is a matter of law lah, required by the law. Okay, kenapa dia required by the law? Because it mentioned the statute. Okay, matter of law. Okay, whether you like it or not, you must corroborate. You refer kepada section 6 Akta Hasutan 1948 ni. Okay, akta ni sekejap nak masuk, sekejap tak nak masuk, sekejap on, sekejap off. It become macam okay, tak tahu apa status ya. Okay, refer kepada section 6. It's mentioned that no person shall be convicted of the offence under section 4 without corroboration. So you must have corroborated evidence to support the evidence standard. Okay, you refer kepada Lim Guan Eng against PP 1998. Okay, banyak case talk about it, not only Lim Guan Eng. Mostly involving politician lah, Kapal Singh punya case, okay. So what is sedition? Sedition is mentioned under section 4 lah, the least kind of sedition, mencetuskan huru-hara. Okay, basically whatever I told you beginning and the end, tak tahu how you put it as a hasutan, but entahlah, susah lah. But whatever it is mentioned under section 6, you must have extra evidence to support it. Okay, you cannot send a person the accused, okay, you cannot convict an accused rely on one piece of evidence. Okay, testes, ponderator, non-numerator tak terpakai kat sini. Okay, you must have extra evidence to support. Okay, it's mentioned by the statute section 6. So next would be section 34. This is apa tu? Testimony of a book account. Okay. It's provided that entries of book account regularly kept in the course of business are relevant whenever they refer to a matter into it. So kalau you hantar book account, you cannot submit this book account alone. It's mentioned under 34 of the Evidence Act. Okay, you must corroborate it. Okay, testimony with accountant ke, orang yang prepare book account tu ke, whatsoever. You refer pada case Sim Seok Eng against another and others lah. Okay, against Po Hua Transport. So we finish matter of law lah. Okay, matter of law ada 3 tadi, jangan lupa. Unsworn testimony of child. Apa tu lagi satu tu? Sedition cases, and last one will be entries in book of account. So this area is matter of law must corroborate. Okay, now we move into this matter of practice. Okay, tak ada mention in statute, but from cases all over the world and Malaysia, it required kind of corroboration. Okay, for the first one will be sworn evidence of child, keterangan kanak-kanak yang bersumpah. So yang tadi tu matter of law 133 capital A tu is only cover yang tak bersumpah. Yang bersumpah would be sworn evidence of a child lah. Okay, kalau yang boleh angkat sumpah tu, okay, walaupun dia reti angkat sumpah tapi kena corroborate jugalah. Okay, but matter of practice. You refer kepada case R against Campbell. Okay, the sworn evidence of a child need not as a matter of law to be corroborated, but the jury should warn. The jury means in Malaysia, the judge. Not that they must find corroboration, but there is a risk, okay, acting on uncorroborated evidence. Berhati-hati. Warn means berhati-hati. Okay, before accepting a testimony of uncorroborated evidence. Okay, itu dia. So, walaupun tak perlu corroborate, okay, tak compulsory, tak wajib, tapi dia kena berhati-hatilah. Put dalam note of proceeding tu. Okay, indication the word not berhati-hati, warn ke caution must be there. Okay, kalau tak nak corroborate. Tapi selalunya 90%, 95%, 99.9%, okay, normally walaupun corroboration matter of practice, normally court will require corroboration. Why? A child still a child. Okay, dia tahu testimony ke, dia tak tahu if unsworn ke, sworn ke, a child still a child. They cannot distinguish between reality and fantasy. Okay, that's why we need extra evidence to support their testimony. Itu the reason. Evidence of an accomplice. Accomplice, you refer case apa tengok TV ni, 6 Jahanam. Okay, rakan-rakan jenayah lah. Okay, manalah tahu kan rakan-rakan jenayah dah kena tangkap kan. So, seorang bagi testimony. Okay, so rakan-rakan dia pun bagi testimony. Okay, okay, so dia nak bagi testimony against rakan-rakan dia. Boleh ke tak apa quality evidence dia tu? Okay, so rakan-rakan selalunya dia mungkin backup lah, nak tolong rakan-rakan dia. So that's why we need corroboration. Okay, itulah dia. Ataupun dia nak kenakan ke, ataupun dia ada good intention ke, bad intention ke, other way around. Okay, that's why we need extra evidence to support. Okay, because dia rakan-rakan. Okay, rakan jenayah. So that's why we need extra evidence. We cannot rely 100% testimony of this accused alone. Okay, especially in cases to implicate dia punya rakan-rakan jenayah. Kalau dia tak implicate rakan-rakan jenayah, tak ada isu. Problem dalam kes dia nak implicate rakan-rakan dia. Okay, itu problem dia. That's why we require corroboration lah. For rakan-rakan jenayah ni, you refer kepada dua section juga, 114 and 133. Okay, don't get confused. Tadi yang unsworn evidence of a child, 133 capital A. Yang ini rakan-rakan jenayah, no capital, 133 fakot. Okay, this 114 and 133. Okay, what is these two sections try to say? 133 provide that an accomplice shall be a competent witness against an accused person. And conviction is not illegal merely because it proceed upon the uncorroborated evidence. It try to say that, 133 try to say that, tak perlu corroborations lah. Okay, you can, tak wajib corroboration tu. You can implicate this testimony given by this accomplice against the rakan-rakan accomplice without corroboration. But you refer kepada 114 illustration B. An accomplice is unworthy credit unless it is corroborated. Okay, so macam ada contradict ni. It try to show that accomplice unworthy. Maknanya tak boleh, kita tak boleh rely testimony of this accomplice witness without corroboration. 133 kata kita tak perlu corroboration. 114 pula kata kita perlu corroboration. Dia macam bercanggah. Okay, so that's why the court read it together. Okay, the court didn't put it as a matter of practice, a matter of law, although 114 mentioned it. The court combined, read it together, put it as a matter of practice only. So it's up to the court, okay, to decide whether they want to have corroboration or not. Okay, that's why they put it under heading of matter of practice, because of the presence of two section under evidence acts ni. Okay, bercanggah. Okay, itu dia. A good case to highlight it will be the case of Daud bin Awang. It's a leading case. Okay, 1954 MLJ. There's no rule of law which demand that in every case where an accused person gives evidence which tend to incriminate co-accused, the jury should be warned that it is dangerous to convict unless it's corroborated. Whether or not such warning should be given to the jury is not matter of law. It's only to be matter of practice saja, to be decided in light of the circumstances of each of the individual case. So in other words, it's not matter of law. It's only a matter of practice. Okay, it's up to the court whether they want to corroborate or not. Okay, but most of the time they will corroborate lah, because accomplice kan, nature of the witness. Okay, very suspicious. Okay. This accomplice rule only apply case where the accomplice is a prosecution witness, not to apply for defense case lah. Okay, Daud Awanga against and the case of Davis against DPP. Okay, remember, it's only apply for prosecution punya case, not for defense punya case. Okay, so defense punya case tak perlulah corroborate. Okay, dah tak terpakai. Okay, it's only for prosecution punya case. Visual identification, yang ini kita dah belajar last semester, repeat again. So it's not matter of law, tak ada statute mention. Okay. Yang kita belajar apa Allahyarham Datuk Faizal Tan Bicik, kalau you ingat last semester yang identity tu section 9, right? Identification evidence. Okay, Datuk Faizal Allahyarham said CJ JC. In dealing with the evidence of visual identification, the court has to remind itself of the special need of caution before convicting the accused in reliance of a correction of the word of the identification. So Datuk Faizal mention the word caution. Okay, maknanya dia berhati-hati. Okay, it's up to him whether they want to corroborate or not, because this is not matter of law, this is a matter of practice. But since Datuk Faizal dia dah mention the word caution dalam note of proceeding dia, okay, so it's okay for him lah. Okay, judges they must put in the note proceeding the word caution, warning, whatever it is, indication to warn himself. Okay, whether there's a corroboration or not is separate things, but they must put it in dalam note of proceeding tu. Leading case kita dah belajar last semester, R against Turnbull. Okay, please open back your note last semester. Required corroboration, matter of practice for identification evidence. Sexual offences, case-case jenayah sexual. So for case-case jenayah sexual ni dia bukan rogol aja tau, dia banyak Apa yang Mulia Raja Razif dah ajar dulu, penal code, very wide. Okay, rape is the highest kind of a sexual offence lah. Okay, is the highest kind of sexual offence. Kita ada bisa rape, kita ada molestation juga. Okay, section apa tu yang Raja Razif ajar? Section 509, 501, 502 molestation. Okay, itu dia. Satu lagi indecency. Ya, kita juga ada harassment. Okay, kita juga ada sodomy. Itu dia. Okay, so all these kind of things. Okay, so sexual offences require some kind of a corroboration evidence lah. Okay. You refer kepada case of PP against Emran. Emran, Emran bukan Imran. Okay. Emran. Okay, EM. Okay. Bin Nasir. Okay. 1987, 1 MLJ 166. I stated that I warn myself that on the charge of rape, it is dangerous to convict on the evidence of the complainant alone, since experience has shown that female, jangan marah Suhaili tak marah. Okay, untuk lady jangan marah, yang ini bukan saya cakap, dia cakap okay. Experience, okay, shown that female complainants, okay, have told false story many times for no reason at all. Okay, so hakim hendaklah berhati-hati ketika menerima keterangan daripada saksi, especially saksi wanita, mangsa-mangsa wanita lah. Because berdasarkan pengalaman dia, okay, banyak saksi-saksi, okay, wanita ni, okay, mangsa-mangsa wanita dia banyak fabricate story. Okay, fabricate story, kadang-kadang tak tahu kenapa, mungkin tersilap ke, okay. Kadang-kadang wanita sensitif kan, okay. Kadang-kadang dalam LRT tu ramai-ramai orang kan, okay, tak ada penjarakan sosial, mentang-mentang boleh buat apa, kapasiti penuh sekarang. Okay. Kadang-kadang bergesel tengah dalam diri tu, okay. Dia ingat kita nak ganggu dia, okay. Padahal tak sengaja, okay. Tak tahu kenapa, hanya wanita yang boleh jawab, okay. Jangan, don't blame me, ni hakim yang cakap. Okay, ada satu kes lagi, bukan kes ni aja, ada kes ni lagi, okay. R against Henry, R against Manning. Okay, R against Henry, R against Manning. Sama juga. It is really dangerous to convict on the evidence of the woman or girl alone. This is dangerous because human experience has shown that in this court, dalam court dia, girls and women do sometimes tell entirely false story. Okay. Which is very easy to fabricate, but extremely difficult to rebut. Such stories are fabricated for all of reason, which I have no need to mention, and sometimes for no reason at all. Kenapa? Sometimes, okay, mangsa wanita dia create story, sometimes for no reason, sometimes tak ada reason langsung. Tak tahu kenapa? Suhaili, kenapa kadang-kadang wanita suka create story? Reka-reka cerita, kadang-kadang tak ada sebab. Tahu tak? Can share with us? Suhaili ada?
Hobi je.
Apa dia?
Hobi.
Hobi?
Kenapa?
Kenapa? Suhaili tahu tak kenapa wanita dia kadang-kadang dia suka experience? Reka-reka cerita. Dia ni hakim cakap.
Tak boleh masuk.
Masuk
Sekejap.
apa? Apa dia?
Sekejap.
Online problem ke, Suhaili? Ada siapa-siapa wanita nak tampil untuk memperjuangkan hak wanita di sini? Tak benar, sir. Bukan wanita saja, lelaki pun sama. Lelaki pun... siapa-siapa nak try?
Alia Farisha, Alia Farisha.
Siapa? Ain Farisha?
Alia Farisha.
Alia Farisha ada? Alia ada? Alia Farisha ada?
Ada sir, ada.
Nak
Ada.
mempertahankan. Kenapa wanita selalu ni fabricate, Hakim ni cakap? Apa masalah korang?
Mungkin dia just nak yakinkan judges tu kot.
Mungkin. Yeah. Tapi asal desperate ke nak menang kes?
Tak sure, tak mengalaminya.
Okay. Itu dia. Tak apalah. Okay, ini separate issue. Nanti kita buatlah talk nanti. Special talk Syami ya. Kita panggil kaunselor wanita. Syami. Okay, kenapa? Okay, kenapa kita perlu berhati-hati soal corroboration untuk saksi wanita? Okay, so I tak nak cakap panjang pasal isu ni. Boleh refer kepada buku saya lah. Suhaili kau tak nampak line tadi? Boleh baca buku saya, jangan risau. Okay,
dah boleh sir.
Boleh dapat Suhaili? Boleh dengar Suhaili? Boleh?
Boleh.
Okay. Kenapa Suhaili wanita suka fabricate story?
Sebab emosi sir, nampak macam fabricate tapi tak pun.
Oh, emosi Ngaku
Certain perempuan je, tak semua sir.
Oh, tak semua
So saya rasa macam apa statement daripada judge tu macam discriminate pula sir, sebab bukan semua perempuan macam tu.
Macam discriminate dia punya Tapi dia kata based on dia punya experience tau. Ini hakim lama ni 30 tahun.
Tapi tahun sekarang dah tak sama macam dulu sir.
Ya ke? Macam sekarang macam mana?
Perempuan sekarang macam tak banyak dah macam dulu.
Apa dia sekarang dah tak ada emosi?
I mean perempuan sekarang dah banyak educated sir.
Okay. Tapi kalau educated pun, PhD pun, emosi ada ke?
Ada certain yang tenang je sir, ada certain yang emosi.
Imran ada opinion Imran? Imran ada? Imran tak ada?
Tengok chat sir, dia kata yes I do.
Oh yes I do. Oh sorry, I tak tengok chat. Okay, several read the news. Petition lawyer are saying it's enforced solo, not repeal. Apa you tulis ni Imran? Tak nak baca ni. Okay, tak nampak. I read several article and news. Politicians and lawyers are saying the Seditious Act is enforced so long not repeal. Aduh. Despite hustle and controversy, he become is a politic issue lah Imran. Biasalah nak menang pilihan raya kan. Undilah saya janji saya akan amend Akta Sultan. Dah menang. Biasalah. Biasa. Okay. Yes I do. Okay Okay, apa-apa hal you all dah refer kepada buku saya Okay, saya tulis buku ni dengan sexual harassment at the workplace Ada isu corroboration kat situ Okay, so bagus, interesting sebenarnya. Sebab aku buat buku pasal ni. Okay. So rape semua tu kejahatan seksual So mangsa tak selalunya wanita tau So jangan ingat mangsa wanita ada mangsa lelaki juga tau mangsa lelaki Okay, ada mangsa So mangsa transgender
Sir,
yes,
I have a question. Kalau dalam kes sexual offence ni, kalau lelaki yang mengalami sexual offence, so dia pun perlu corroborate juga ke macam mana?
This apply untuk lelaki dan perempuan sekali. Corroborate juga. Because it's not based on gender, it's based on the offence. Jenis offence. As long as sexual offence, dia kena corroborate juga. Raise your hand. Okay. Lower your hand. Raise your hand. Okay.
Sir, Imran dah tulis dia punya opinion dekat chat.
Oh, dia suka tulis. Dia tak suka cakap ke? Malas aku nak chat. Macam hang. I think okay, Imran tulis apa ni? I think Judge has his own reason saying such remark, but I think women are fabricated story to make it women are fabricated to convince and more emotionally sensible. Entahlah Imran, susah nak mau cakap. Hai. Tapi itulah nak beritahu ya. So sexual offence can happen to anybody not only women, men also can happen. And not only men, transgender also can happen tak tahu you baca news ke tak semalam apa kes apa tu? High Court dekat Amerika Amerika High Court dia dah Supreme Court, highest court dia dah uphold decision dia apa tu, LGBT tak boleh didiskriminasikan di tempat kerja tak boleh diganggu. Okay, so kalau you buang pekerja berdasarkan dia punya sexual orientation, maknanya you salah di Amerika lah. Okay, tak tahu mana yang nampak dia LGBT Supreme Court ruling dekat US So just to share lah, okay, the legal development Supreme Court is the highest court in United States. Dekat Malaysia macam mana sir? Dekat Malaysia kita tak ada kes lagi lah. Semua tak berani nak bawa kes. Okay. Okay, kita go next. Okay, slide. Very interesting topic. Alamak. Okay, last point for corroboration before kita balik, okay, last point for corroboration evidence, okay. Isu apa ni? Previous statement. Previous statement is not that we use corroboration to support previous statement. We use previous statement as corroboration. Itu isu dia. Okay. Statement to as a corroboration evidence. Okay, previous statement means pernyataan terdahulu lah. Apa-apa jenis pernyataan terdahulu. Tak semestinya police report aja. Anything lah. You hantar WhatsApp pun pernyataan terdahulu juga. Okay, it can be oral, it can be document, etc. etc. I refer kepada section 157 So 157, I summarize lah. It allow you to use previous statement. Okay, anything, whether it's oral or written, as a corroboration evidence. So boleh pakai corroboration previous statement as corroboration evidence lah. Okay, sama ada bertulis ataupun lisan written or verbal can be used. Okay. The most important issue to be considered under 157, whether previous statement under 157 can be considered as a corroboration evidence. Itu isu dia. Why? Ingat tak tadi I tunjuk dari requirement of corroboration? Okay, salah satu requirement for corroboration, evidence must be independent, right? So kalau you pakai you punya previous statement, tak pelik ke? Apa tak macam kelakar je you pakai you punya statement to corroborate your statement. Okay, you come to the court to testify, testimony, but you want to corroborate pakai apa? Dengan you punya previous statement. So maknanya ayat you sendiri corroborate dengan ayat you sekarang kat mahkamah. You testify in court, testimony, corroborate dengan FIR first information report, police report, ayat you sendiri. Itu isu dia. Nampak tak? Kan nampak ni? Requirement corroboration selain pada relevant, evidence in place must be strong, evidence must be used. Salah satu requirement, evidence must be independent. Okay. So lebih baik cari saksi lain yang lebih credible. You nak pakai ayat you sendiri, corroborate ayat you buat apa? Okay. Itu isu dia. Because of this issue, ada 3 school of thought tau. Okay. Okay, the first school of thought state that previous statement under 157 is considered as corroboration evidence. Why? Because 157 mentioned clearly it is corroboration. So dah statute kata macam tu, who are we to argue? So we follow the statute lah. Okay, ada banyak kes yang ikut ni macam Koh Sun Po, Teo Eng Chan and the case of Lim Baba. Okay, the second school of thought said that 157 cannot be considered as corroboration. Why? Okay, because tadilah syarat tu. Okay, syarat tu dia tak fulfill criteria. Okay, corroboration evidence must be independent. Dia argue macam ni pula. Okay, ini pun ada school of thought dia. Ada several case, Karti Yanai, okay, Aziz Muhammad Din, Pani Selvan, all these cases. Okay, cases that is mentioned that 157 cannot be considered as a pure corroboration evidence lah. Okay, it's not a strong corroboration evidence, it's a weak corroboration evidence. Okay, and there's a third school of thought said that it is not corroboration. They say it's to show consistency. what you said in court and what you put down in the previous statement is consistent. Okay. So macam kes Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, Moral Permual, okay, all these cases itu dia. So dia ada 3 school of thought. Yang mana satu prevail so far yang prevail yang bawah ni. Okay, statement admitted under 157 is not corroboration evidence but is to serve to show consistency lah. Okay, you can use it as a corroboration evidence. Nobody can say deny it. But the value is to show consistency. Sama tak apa you cakap kat mahkamah sekarang dengan apa yang you buat report dulu? Ataupun you said to someone ke previous statement. Itu dia. So Alhamdulillah we finished the 3rd chapter. Okay. Okay. So next chapter will be estoppel. Okay. Reminder again. Take home test jangan lupa nanti kita akan buat 14 sampai 21 Julai. 1 week. Okay. Topik sampai 2 days je lah. Corroboration evidence tak panjang. Okay. 3 topik saja. Okay. And jangan lupa buat assignment kita ada 15 markah kat situ assignment. Okay. Masih sama lagi. And please come for virtual tutorial next week as well Okay, and this week lah for those Khamis yang tak datang gitu So this will be next week punya tutorial question presumption. Okay, itu dia. So thank you, see everybody and for class and tutorial. Ada apa-apa soalan? Boleh tanya soalan?
Sir.
Yes. Ya, Wafi dulu
Saya nak tanya pasal yang corroboration tentang sedition case.
Okay, sedition case, okay.
Kan dia kata kena corroborate kan?
Kena corroborate, wajib.
Kalau orang tu buat satu statement yang macam benda yang kita boleh printed lah, katakanlah documentary evidence, kita kena corroborate juga ke documentary evidence?
Wajib. Kalau saksi datang ke, you bagi documentary evidence ke, tape recorder ke, you kena corroborate.
Oh, maksudnya nak corroborate apa? Credibility of the evidence tu lah, kan?
Yang dokumen tu, tape recorder tu, saksi ke, yang itu yang kena corroborate.
Oh, I see.
Kena ada extra evidence, Wafi. You tak boleh pakai evidence tu satu je.
Walaupun dia dah macam jelas-jelas tunjuk orang tu buat.
Tak boleh because section 6 required corroboration. You kena ikut statute. Matter of law, wajib.
Oh, I see.
Tak ada corroboration, memang salah. Salah di sesuatu undang-undang. Misheard in law.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you, sir.
Most welcome. Okay, next question. Tadi sister. Yes, saya.
Kalau untuk matter as a matter required by practice of law tu, kan doktor katakan 95% tend to untuk corroborate evidence tu. So ada probability 5% untuk corroborate. So boleh ke kalau saya conclude kan, so untuk practice of law ni at the end dia akan tengok kepada credibility of witness and evidence sebenarnya kan doktor? Kalau
betul lah, dia ikut credibility of witness tu, Suhaili. Kalau video tu very convincing, reliable, testimony given by witness very there's no suspicious lah. So the court can accept it blindly. But whatever it is, Suhaili, most important, with corroboration, no corroboration, dalam case tu, matter of practice and prudent tu, the court must put the word caution. Okay, dalam note of proceeding tu. Okay, kalau tak ada the word caution ke, or any word with synonym with caution lah, warning ke, the word danger ke, the word risk ke, okay, kalau tak ada appeal dalam note proceeding, the other party can make an appeal lah. Okay, it show that the court tak berhati-hati, tak caution himself before sitting.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you, sir.
Most welcome. Any more question?
Saya nak tanya.
Okay.
Memang family members tak boleh jadi
corroborate.
Tak boleh corroborate.
Saksi Rayana, thank you. Boleh jadi saksi. No, there's no law said that they are not permitted. But the value of this evidence later on will be open for debate lah. So it will affect the value, Rayana.
Okay.
Tapi dah kalau tak ada choice apa nak buat, itu aja, then the court have to accept it lah.
So dia punya credibility tu tak kuat sangat lah.
Yes, it's very doubtful because as mentioned just now, right, corroboration must be independent as much as possible to avoid conflict of interest. Okay, except for previous statement under 157 is permitted. Tapi kalau macam family members you mention tadi, tak ada section yang membenarkannya, tak ada section juga yang melarangnya, tapi it will affect the value lah. Only value je. In terms of value. It's still admissible, but it will affect the value of the evidence standard.
Okay.
Okay, right. Any more question?
Doktor,
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Dekat
Okay.
Malaysia, kita ada pakai curator bonus ke?
Kita pakai apa?
Curator bonus.
Apa benda tu?
Is a legal representative that has been appointed by court for persons yang gila macam tu, tak silap saya.
Yang person apa? To
Person
look after the affairs of person mentally and physically capable himself.
Yes.
Curator bonus, okay, an administrator appointed look after the affair of person mentally incapable himself. Curator bonus in charge of the person. Malaysia pakai ke tak? Okay. Dekat common law ada pakai. So kalau common law pakai, so Malaysia yang pernah jadi jajahan common law ni pakai jugalah.
Oh, okay.
So far I tak tahu pula ada undang-undang mengatakan dilarang. Itu dia.
Alright, okay.
Curator bonus. Banyak common law curator bonus. Any more question? Curator bonus in Scotland. Okay. Oh, dalam Scott kita panggil curator bonus. Dekat England kita panggil the guardian. Okay. Under common law we call it as a conservator or guardian of the property. Okay. So itulah dia. Legal guardian. Oh, in other words legal guardian lah. Legal guardian bukan kita ada? Ada. Okay. We apply in legal guardian in Malaysia. Okay, we have. Children semua tu, disabled people. Family law lah. Cepat aku buat research. Any more question? Ada soalan lagi?
Last nak tanya.
Okay.
Kiranya unsworn evidence ni kiranya orang tu dia tak akan kasih apa-apa testimoni lah kan?
Dia bagi testimoni.
Tapi
cuma tanpa angkat sumpah je sebelum bagi testimoni tu je.
Okay, faham.
Mereka ni semua bagi testimoni tau. Sworn ke unsworn, mereka datang ke mahkamah kanak-kanak ni. Cuma mereka tak sama ada angkat sumpah ataupun tak angkat sumpah, tu je. Value yang angkat sumpah tu lebih tinggi sebab dia ada angkat sumpah. Okay. Value yang tak angkat sumpah tu tak ada value. Okay.
Okay.
Bagus you raise the issue. I just want to ask a question. Kalau nak tanya sekarang ke tutorial?
Sekarang.
I reserve for tutorial. For example, kalau a child give sworn testimony in court, can this unsworn testimony be supported with another unsworn? This sworn testimony be supported with unsworn testimony? Malah tahu kan ada 2-3 orang saksi kanak-kanak dalam satu kes tu. Okay, 2 tanpa bersumpah, seorang bagi bersumpah. Okay, so yang bersumpah ni nak corroborate matter of practice, nak corroborate tak dengan dua-dua? Itu isu dia. So the rule is that kalau you refer kepada kes Muharram tadi, Anson bagi you tu, okay, the case said that for unsworn evidence of a child, they cannot corroborate with another unsworn. Because unsworn cannot corroborate with unsworn because both are unsworn, tak ada quality sebab dia unsworn. Okay, dia tak erti angkat sumpah. Tapi kalau nak unsworn dengan sworn boleh sebab sworn dia agak sumpah, so value dia tinggi sikit. Okay, so kalau sworn pula nak corroborate dengan unsworn lagi tak boleh lah. Okay, sebab dia unsworn. Tapi kalau sworn dengan sworn boleh tak? Boleh. Sebab dia sama value. Itu rule of the court. So kalau unsworn dengan unsworn tak boleh, child. Okay, unsworn tak boleh corroborate dengan unsworn. Kalau unsworn nak corroborate dengan sworn, boleh. Okay. So kalau sworn pula nak corroborate dengan unsworn tak boleh. Okay. Sworn dengan sworn boleh. Itu dia. Refer balik ke the case Muharram Anson tu. Ada apa-apa soalan?
Kalau unsworn tu banyak maksudnya ada a few unsworn punya evidences.
Still cannot say lah, cannot be used lah juga. Kalau banyak mana pun, the rule is the rule because the value is very weak lah because dia unsworn tau. So apa-apa testimony dia bagi tanpa sumpah, the doubt is more banyak. Okay. Itu problem dia.
Okay. Boleh tak sir kalau situasi dia unsworn evidence, lepas tu dalam masa like, sebab dia kan child kan, so macam in a few macam during masa trial tu ongoing, tiba-tiba dia eligible untuk give a sworn statement lah. So macam boleh ke bertukar dari unsworn kepada sworn?
Boleh. Jarang berlaku, tapi boleh berlaku, tapi kena explain to the court lah clearly kenapa berjadi macam tu.
Okay.
Tapi tak pernah berlaku lagi sejarah. Sejak bertukar, selalunya benda-benda ni semua dah definite daripada awal lagi. Kalau banyak sangat bertukar kan, dia affect credibility juga tau. Okay, nanti itu dulu kata macam ni, lebih macam ni lah. So maknanya awak ni tak boleh pakai punya saksi lah. So the court is not a strong evidence.
Okay.
So tak ada isu corroboration dah. Okay, corroboration is to support strong evidence. Okay, if the evidence you have in place is weak, very doubtful, asyik bertukar-tukar je. Okay, so maknanya there is no issue of corroboration at all lah. Okay, the court will reject your case entirely. Maknanya evidence tu very weak, very doubtful.
So dia kena sekali je lah, tak boleh lah.
Kalau boleh lah, sebab takut nanti kan banyak tukar-tukar, jangan kata hakim, you pun nanti rasa doubtful.
Okay, thank you sir.
Most welcome. Any more question? Semua okay? Dah pukul berapa dah? 12 suku. Ini banyak sikit 57 slide. Semua okay ya? Semua okay ya? Syami, okay ke?
Okay, doktor.
Okay. So I think semua okay. Imran okay, Imran?
Okay sir.
Okay
sir. Alhamdulillah.
That's good. Okay lah. Thank you very much everything. Okay for everybody. So kita jumpa seperti biasa lah untuk kelas dan tutorial lah. Stay safe everybody. Stay safe. Stay online also. Okay. Everything's nowadays online. Okay, so you can have your lunch kat dapur. Boleh turun bawah lah. Pergi dapur. Kan senang kalau macam ni. Online macam ni. Pergi dapur je. Okay, thank you. Okay, see everybody.
Thank you
next
very much.
meeting. Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.